Hi my dear students, in this video we are going to see 8th Social Chapter 4 Tribals, Dikus and the Vision of Golden Age History Chapter 4. Who are called as tribals? The persons belongs to forest. The persons they are living in forest. They are called as tribals. And who are called as Dikus? Dikus means outsiders. Just like us, we are the tribal peoples also. There are many communities in tribal groups. We can see few communities. These are the tribal community names we are going through in this lesson. Mundas, Santals, Orens, Kondans and Baigas. These are some of the tribal community names. We are having many tribal communities. For example, here I have given 5 tribal community names which we are going to see in this chapter. And tribals are peoples who are living in forest. And Dikus means outsiders. And the Birsha, he was a man, belongs to this Munda community. This Munda tribal community. He belongs to Munda tribal community. And in the year 1895, he started to move around all the forest places. And he has some miraculous powers, different powers, rare powers. It is called as miraculous powers. What miraculous power he have? He can solve all the problems of tribal peoples and he could cure all the diseases of the peoples. That is a different miraculous power in Birsha. And he also started to solve many problems of tribals. Among the tribal community peoples, he was like a Bhagavan. They believed that all the tribal community peoples, they believed this Birsha as a Bhagavan. In this chapter, I am going to divide this chapter into 2 portions. First portion, we are going to see the tribals. What are the works of tribals? What they are doing? The different community peoples, they will do different works. What they are doing? The first portion. Second portion, after British entered India, what happened to this tribal peoples? That is the second portion. First, we will continue with the first portion. Here, the tribal community peoples, they did many different kinds of jobs. First one is Zum cultivation. Zum cultivation is also called as shifting cultivation because they go from place to place. So they are called as shifting cultivation. What they will do in this Zum cultivation? Actually, they cut the trees and they will burn that. If we are burning something, what we will get? Ash. In that ash, there will be potash. That potash will be helped to give fertility for the soil so that whatever crops you are growing in that particular land, it will grow very well. So here they won't use any ploughs. Instead of that, they will sow the seeds. That means scatter the seeds here and there so that the crops will cultivate and they will harvest the crops, and now they will leave the land as such for the fertility and they will move to different land. So they are moving from place to place for cultivation. So only it is also called a shifting cultivation or Zum cultivation. They will cut the trees, burn the trees. If we are burning, we will get ash. In that ash, there will be potash, so that the potash will be helpful for fertility of soil. But they won't use any plough. They will show the soil seeds here and there. That is, scatter the seeds here and there. And now the seeds or the crops are ready for harvest. They will harvest the crop and they will move for another field. This is the second kind of job did by tribal community peoples, that is hunters and gatherers. That is hunting. Hunting means hunting the animals. Gathering means gathering some forest products like fruits, vegetables, honey or medicinal plants, etc. The Kondans, I already said that the tribal community peoples, there are many tribal communities are there. Among that, the Kondans, that community peoples do this type of hunting and gathering. They will collect all the fruits and roots from the forest and many shrubs and herbs for their medicinal purposes. And they also sold this in the markets, local markets. So by hunting and gathering, they started to do their jobs. And this is the one type of job they did. First type of peoples, they have did Zum cultivation or shifting cultivation. Second type of peoples, example Kondans community peoples, they did this hunting and gathering. And third type of peoples, they started to head and rear animals. That is, growing animals like sheep or anything, herding and rearing animals, herding, and they also move from place to place to feed their sheeps and whatever cattle or sheep what they are growing, herding. They want food for the cattle and sheep. So they will move from place to place because sheep they will eat grasses. In some places the grasses will be more. So they will shift from one place to another place. So this is about herding and rearing. And fourth kind of job they did is settled cultivation. Settled cultivation means they cleared some land and they have started to cultivate some crop in that land. Some become owners and some become workers working under that owners. And they also began to use this bluff method and gradually they started to use their land for crop cultivation. They are settled down in the same land. So they are, this is so only the name is called as settled cultivation. This British officials, they found this type of peoples are very settled. They are well civilized than that hunters and gatherers, because hunting and gathering is a type of uncivilized thing like that the British they have conveyed to us. And this type of peoples, settled cultivated peoples, they are more civilized than that hunters and gatherers. Actually this settled cultivation was did by some community tribal peoples like Gondans and Santals. They did this settled cultivation method. These are the four different kinds of jobs did by tribal community peoples. First is zoom cultivation or settled cultivation, and second is hunting and gathering, third is herding and rearing, and fourth is settled cultivation. And now our first portion is over. What I said, the first portion is about what tribal community people works. Different kinds of works did by tribal community peoples. Second portion is what happened to these tribal peoples after British entered India, colonial rule, that is subjugate. After EAC entered India, what happened to this tribal peoples? First, let us see about what happened to the tribal chiefs, head, that is tribal head. What happened to the tribal chiefs? Actually, before British entered India, they have enjoyed many privileges, that is many products from whatever the tribal peoples gather, they will give this to this tribal chiefs. But they have lose all these privileges after British entered India, and they are forced to pay tributes. What is the difference between tax and tributes? Tax means they will collect regularly. Tributes means whenever possible they will collect. It is uneven. Tax means regularly if we are paying 10 rupees, we will pay 10 rupees every month. Tributes means whenever we have, we will pay. 10 days, within 10 days gap, we can pay 100 rupees like that. Tributes means whenever possible, the money will be money or whatever things may be collected from these chiefs. They forced to pay this. After British entered India, the tribal chiefs, they were forced to pay this tributes, and they have lost their administrative power. And what they have enjoyed previously, they completely lose the administrative power. And second thing is how the shifting cultivators, that is zoom cultivators, they have affected by this British loot. How they have affected? British don't want to move the tribal community peoples to move from one place to another place. They want to settle down, because if they are moving from one village to another village, how they will collect revenue? They cannot able to collect revenue. No. So they want to settle down all these tribal community peoples in one place. For that, they have measured the land and they have given the land to this tribal community peoples. Some were allotted as landowners and some were allotted as tenants. Even though the tribal community peoples, they have given their own land, they cannot able to cultivate there. They cannot able to pay their revenue to EAC. Why? What is the reason? Because the land given by the EAC, it was a dry land. No water resources there near that land. So how can they grow? So it is very completely they cannot able to grow crops. Also they cannot able to pay the revenues. These are the problems faced by shifting cultivators after British entered India. And third one, this British EAC implemented many laws, forest laws. Actually, they want many things from our forest. So they implemented many forest laws, but the tribal community peoples completely they have deserted out of, they were completely make out of this forest, and the forest announced as the reserved forest. Reserved forest means no other persons can enter inside forest without official permission. So the tribal peoples are not allowed to enter inside the forest. So how can they lead their life? So this is the main impact due to forest law. Tribal peoples, they started to against this forest law. So they have more rebellions against this forest law. One is Sangram Sangama in 1906 and another one is Forest Satyagraha 1930. These two are against this forest laws, implement of this forest laws. And third one is the problem with trade. What happened to tribal community peoples due to this trade? Many money lenders and traders, they entered into their tribal areas and they have started to communicate with these tribal peoples. They motivated to have more profit by using this tribal community peoples. Let us see one example, one case study. The Santals, this is one group of tribal community peoples. They reared this cocoon. What we will get from cocoon? Yes, we will get silk thread from cocoons. So these silk traders enter inside this forest and they have a trade with this tribal peoples. They have collected cocoons from this tribal peoples and they have paid only 1 rupee. For example, I am saying they are paying 1 rupee for this tribal community peoples, but they will sell this cocoon for 3 to 4 rupees. They have 5 times profit. That is, if they are getting the cocoon for 1 rupee, they are selling this cocoon for 5 rupee. That is 5 times of profits. They will go and sell this in Gaya in India. And like that, in the trade also, they have cheated this tribal community peoples, the traders and money lenders. They have cheated this tribal community people. So here the tribal community peoples, anywhere, the shifting cultivators, those who are rearing cocoons, whomever it is, everyone have a problem. So they went in search of work. They went to Assam plantation, tea plantation, and they have went to coal mines. They have leave from their house and they have gone far, they gone far away from the places, and they were employed in many industries and tea Assam plantations and also in coal. Here the planters not allowed the tribal peoples to go to their home even in any year possible. Finally, the tribal community peoples started to rebel against these changes in the laws due to implemented after EAC entered inside India. They have started to have a rebellion against this, all the laws what it was implemented against the tribal community peoples. Rebellion means against authority. We gone through in chapter 3, no? Rebellion means it was against authority. About Birsa Munda. What happened about Birsa Munda? Who is Birsa? Already we gone through in the introduction. He was a man, belongs to Munda community, and he declared that the God appointed him for remove the trouble of tribal community peoples, and he want to save the peoples from Dikus. Dikus means outsiders, that is money lenders and traders who are continuously monitoring about the tribal peoples and they are cheating the tribal peoples. Soon, the thousands of peoples became the followers of Birsa Munda, but the Birsa Munda was unhappy with the changes experienced by the traders, money lenders and British peoples. He want to change the situation. He want to go to their real golden past. They also have some self-respect and dignity, and he started a movement known as Birsa Munda, and it was under his leadership only. Birsa started a movement known as Birsa Munda. So everything was against the Birsa Munda. The EAC was against Birsa Munda because he was leading that movement. So he was arrested in the year 1895 and he was released in 1897. And after he came out of the jail, again he started this movement and he referred this Dikus and European peoples, that is British and money lenders and traders, as Ramanas. And they don't want to be anymore under the control of them, traders, money lenders or British peoples. They want to lead their life individually. So he established a kingdom known as Birsa Munda under his leadership. But he was died in the year 1900, and due to why he was died means the reason behind his death was due to cholera. It was a bacterial infection. Due to that, Birsa was died. Even though Birsa was died, his movement, it was very important. It was very significant. Yes, even though the Birsa Munda movement was ended up, but there was many significant movements after many significant changes happened to this tribal community after Birsa Munda movement. What happened means, first thing is the colonial rule. They introduced the law that no persons should take over the land of tribal peoples. None other persons, no one planters, maybe money lenders or traders, no one have the rule or anything to take over tribal people's land. And second thing is, the tribal peoples again prove that they can able to protest against the injustice, and they can express their anger also, and they can be live with their self respect. So everything was fine after this Munda movement for tribal community peoples. Thank you dears. We shall meet in chapter 5.